Okay, so I have this new laser here that I'm going to be trying out that they sent to me to do a review on. It looks to be pretty good. I haven't opened it yet, and I hate unboxing videos, so I'm going to do this really quick. But I did want to do this because I noticed that there seems to be something not in place in there. So I do just real quickly want to open it up and see what's going on in here. And then I'm just going to get into using it. I'm not really going to talk too much about opening it up. Okay, so inside the cardboard, there is a plastic case, nothing else. So okay, so there's still something rattling around in there. So I'm going to pop it open and see. All right, well, that explains the noise. It does have a foam insert in here that seems to be supposed to hold everything in place. Let me bring the camera over here. Okay, so this is how it was when I opened it up. So this, I think, is supposed to be down in here. This, I'm not sure. So I'll have to figure this all out. It looks like maybe an instruction manual or something here. But yeah, it's not really packed the way it should be. And I think that, I don't know, it's got this foam up here, so it looks like that should hold everything in place. So I don't know if it just didn't get packed right or what, but that's what we got. So obviously it's got the laser, and it has a receiver for outdoor use for like if you're setting grade, and then a holder that would attach to a stick. This looks like some kind of a tripod mount. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to get everything out, and I'm not going to talk about it all right now, but I'll get it out. I'm going to mess with it a little bit and use it here on the house, and then I'll do a full review on it from there. All right, so I think I've got everything in here the way it needs to be. Got the laser, the receiver. There's a pair of glasses that are green that are like protective from the green laser. The receiver holder, one battery, the other battery's in there. The adjustable mount, and then there's another mount. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but anyway, I think it's all in there. And then so I can close this up, and there's, okay, well, I can't do it with one hand, but this is rattling, but there's nothing rolling around in there anymore. So I think it just didn't get packed good from the factory, or maybe it bounced out in delivery. But all right, well, you've seen this laser in a couple of videos I've been using. It's from a company called Dovoh, and it is the H3-360G. I don't know what those numbers mean other than the 360, I assume, is 360 degrees all the way around in every direction. So as you can see, if I turn it on, I have a horizontal, and I have this vertical here, and I have this vertical here, or I can have all three of them on. And so one thing I like about it, it's self-leveling, and it has this locking switch here. So when it's off, the mechanism is locked in there. And as soon as you turn it on, well, now you can see that it's free to move around, and so then it can self-level. The other thing you can do is, while it's off, there's a power button here you can hold, and then it will turn on the laser. And then let's say you were trying to mount a stair rail or something like that, then you mount this on your tripod, and you can actually pivot it to get different angles. If you wanted to hang a bunch of pictures in a row up a stairway or anything like that where you kind of need an angle, you can just lock it in place. So that's kind of a neat feature. And then just hold that to turn that back off. So let's talk about some of the accessories here. The case, it's a hard case. It's not the greatest case if you're used to like a Pelican case or something like that that's pretty rigid. This has a little bit of flex to it. It definitely is not as thick or as high quality plastic as like a Pelican case would be, but it does the job. It has the foam cutouts in here for all the pieces to fit in. And when this is closed and locked in place, I mean, it's holding everything in place. So when I open it up, it's all there. So, so this laser can be used indoor or outdoor. It has a pulse feature. If you turn it on and then turn on the pulse feature, it will then work with a receiver. And so this would be like if you're laying out concrete forms or anything like that. So this would be mounted on here. So this would click in place like this, and then you can mount this to a stick, or you can buy a stick from them, but you could just use any, like a level or a broomstick or anything like that. What I do like about this is that it has a display screen on both sides. So if you are trying to get your level, you don't have to be looking at it from this side. You can be standing on the back side and see it. So that works pretty well. I'll show that a little bit more outside later. So the other thing is this seems kind of silly, but it comes with these little green glasses, and they do actually help when it's bright out to see the laser. Again, I'll show that outside later. And then it comes with 2 batteries and a charger, so you can actually charge it in the charger, or you can plug the cord directly into the laser itself and it will charge that way. So it has a spot for your owner's manuals. It also has this little green marking thing. Again, if I turn this back on and you're in a situation outside you can't see, this really has some reflective material inside of it, so it really helps to bring that into view. And then finally we have the mounts. So this mount is a little bit, I don't know, it's kind of goofy, but I think it works well. It can be mounted to a tripod. It has a 1/4-20, and then it also has a, I think that's a 5/8 mounting hole. But so this will just screw in, and it has this little stamp here to show you kind of where this goes. Not that I think it really matters, but so this just screws in here the same way it would onto a tripod, and then this will mount on here. And then if you are trying to line something up, if you just turn this little screw here, it actually pivots that whole base, so you can kind of fine tune if you're laying out a wall or anything like that and you have a long line. Again, you could just grab the thing and turn it, but I don't know, it could be a handy feature. And then finally you have maybe the coolest mount. This one screws in again to the 1/4-20 mark, and then this one allows you to hang it from a wall. And so it has a kind of a screw-in clamping feature here. If you had a, I don't know, some kind of a bracket fixed to a wall, that you could screw that down, lock it into place. It has a keyhole, so you could put a screw in a wall. So you could put a nail or a screw in a wall and hang it on there, and it would hang like this. And then on this side you have this adjustment So again, if you've got it attached in place here and you need to fine tune up and down, you can just roll this instead of trying to remove your screw or your nail to get it perfect. You can roll this up and down and then just lock it in place and it'll stay. And then the final thing about this one is this one actually will pop loose like this, and it has these rare earth magnets in it. So if you had a steel wall, you could just hang it on there. Again, same thing. And so it's pretty versatile in the way it mounts. I'm not going to say this is the highest quality bracket. It does feel not quite professional grade. I do think the laser is built well from what I can tell. The accessories, maybe not so much. They could definitely use some work there. But they do claim that it is pretty rigid. So I'm going to be trying out a few things on this. So we'll get to that in a little bit. All right, I do want to mention this real quick before I forget. They are supposed to be sending me another one of these for a giveaway. So be on the lookout for that video coming up. They told me they were going to send me one, but I haven't heard anything yet. Okay, so I'm going to start marking for my light switch boxes. So I've got this laser set up at 4 feet. I don't actually have my boxes, so I can't actually mount them yet, but I am going to take my pencil and mark around where they're going to go. All right, so over here we're probably a good 20 feet away from where the laser is set up, and it's daylight. I mean, it's pretty bright. You can kind of just faintly see, before I step in the way, you can just faintly see that laser right there. But I don't know if this will pick up on camera or not, but I'm gonna try with these silly glasses. I don't know if it really helps or not. It does a little bit when it's just on your eyes. I think it is helping a little bit with the camera, but you know, those are kind of silly. But the thing that actually does help is this thing right here, and you kind of have to maybe rotate it and pivot it. It's got some reflective beads in it, so I don't know if that's actually showing up or not, but I can see it. It's showing up well, so that I could see being helpful, like outside, and I may try that later. But that actually does show you where that's at. So they claim that this laser is really durable and will go right back to its level. So I just want to test the accuracy of this thing. I'm going to simulate something that I've actually done a couple of times, where I've been using this thing and I walk by with something and I knock it over and now it's going crazy. But so I'll just, you know, set it back up and then kicked it over again. Not a big deal. All right, so let's say you've got it sitting up here and it falls off. Well, the battery came out, so we'll see how that handles there. Lock, and then I'll put the battery back in. So let's actually go a little bit higher now. So let's say I've just set it on the workbench or whatever and knock it over. Okay, so all right, it's got some issues. It gets beat up. So I mean, we're talking about, what is this? You know, 32 inches falling off of there. So I want to try putting it back on this mount here and see if I can get it zeroed back in. So I mounted it right back where it was. Now let's just look around, and I have a pencil mark right there. It's right on. That's only about 4 feet away. On this side, again, we're about 3 feet away. But now, if we come over here, we are about 10 or 12 feet away. So right on the mark there. And then let's just walk into the kitchen and see what we have. And again, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I'm just walking around the house here, and again, right there, right there. I mean, that's pretty good for going right back to level after that thing's been kicked over a few times. So I'm gonna keep testing this thing, but so far it seems pretty impressive. All right, so I've got the laser set up over there. It's about 30 feet away from the house, and you can very clearly not see the line on the house. So let's try with this little thing here, see what we can find. And not really seeing it. I did see it a while ago. Okay, I don't know if you can see it through the camera or not. I can see it with my eyes. It's right at basically the 1 centimeter below the bullseye mark. But it's really hard to see. So I don't know how helpful this thing would be. And I mean, we're out in direct sunlight, so that's kind of going to be a problem. But the one thing that does work is the receiver. So I can get it up here, and so it tells me fast beeps go down, slow beeps go up, and it's really, really touchy, so it's very sensitive. But then you have this notch over here in the side, so you could actually mark that with a pencil, and that would get you exactly what you're looking for there. So again, we're about 30 feet away. So from the laser, we're a good 30 feet, and you can see it picking up in my camera lens, but you're definitely in this bright sunlight not going to see anything lit up on the house itself. You're going to have to use that receiver, but really for outdoor use, you don't typically need to see the laser. I have another laser that I typically use for laying out like foundations, form boards, siding on outside of houses, and it's a rotary laser, so it doesn't cast a visible light anyway. It just uses a receiver, and then you mark where your line would be. So this would serve that purpose. I mean, at 30 feet, it's picking up. I may actually just take off walking here a little bit. Okay, so I'm now on the other side of the house, which the house is 30 feet across. The laser is another 30 feet off of the house, so we're at about 60, maybe 70 feet. I'm actually past the house just a little bit. All right. So, like I said, we're about 60 feet here, and this thing's picking up. Let me keep going.
So now I'm at like 90 or 100 feet, and we're still picking up at broad daylight. So I think this thing is actually going to be good for outdoor use. Well, overall, like I said, I think the laser is built pretty well. I've seen some videos actually where they take it apart and show kind of what's inside of it. I'm not going to do that. I've dropped it a couple of times. There's one other test I want to do. It does have an IP54 weatherproof, weather resistant rating on it, dust and water resistant. So I'm going to do one other test. If it passes that test, I'd say it's pretty good. Like I said, the accessories are a little bit less than perfect. You know, I think it sells for about $350 for this set. So you're getting a decent laser, you're getting some attachments, some mounting points. The receiver does work really well, and even out in bright light. It even, I just noticed, has a spot you could tie a lanyard onto it there, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think overall, I mean, you're paying $350 for this thing. I think that's a pretty good deal. The other rotary laser that I use, it's about 15 years old maybe, but it was like $1,200. And of course it's a more professional grade, but I think for $350, I mean, I think you're getting a pretty good deal on this. Like I said, I'm going to check it for rain resistance, and then I'll make my final kind of analysis on that. Okay, so one final test I'm going to do here before I make my decision is I'm going to simulate rain. So I've got my garden hose set up over here, and I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to let this thing sit in the rain for 10 minutes and make sure everything's okay, and then I'll make my final assessment on this. So I'm going to turn it on so we can see if anything weird happens while the water is hitting it. Okay, so here's my final thoughts on the Dovoh H3-360G. I think it's a decent laser. You saw in the house where I kicked it over a couple of times. I knocked it off of the sawhorse table, and I set it right back up where it was, and it was just right on the lines all throughout the house. And, you know, we're talking about a 30-foot across from one side of the house to the other, so I think it's okay. I am noticing as I'm standing here holding it, I did dry this thing off after I let it rain on it. I am noticing that it seems to maybe be letting some water out of some of these seams, so I don't think that's an issue. I turn it on and it's still working. It does maybe have just a little bit of condensation in some of the windows here. I don't know if that will pick up, but that could be just because it's like 80 degrees, 85 degrees in the sun, and I was shooting water on it, which cooled it off. So it could just be condensation building up on the inside of there. I'm sure it'll go away. But again, it's I think it's decent. Like I said, the accessories that came with it are maybe subpar. They could be stronger. They're not going to be what you maybe expect out of a higher end product. The case, it doesn't have a weather seal, rubber gasket, or anything like that in it, so I would not leave it out in the rain, especially standing up. Maybe laying flat, it might be okay, but especially not standing up, because it is going to get some moisture in it, I'm sure. So those are my thoughts. If you're interested in this, there will be a link in the description. Also, they gave me a code where you can punch in the code on the website, and I think it's 15% off that you get. So I will put that here on the screen and also down in the description. If you do any kind of work where you could use a laser, indoor or outdoor, they do also have some indoor only models on their website that are quite a bit cheaper than this one. So if that's something, if you need something just for maybe you lay tile, maybe you're an interior decorator and you need to line up shelves or cabinets or anything like that, the interior models that they have, I think would be just as good, and the price point is much better. So go check them out. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.